This match shows what happens when the score reaches 2-0 quite early on in the match. So I'm looking at the Bradford-Sheffield United match on Sunday the 20th of September. 53 minutes have gone by and Bradford has scored twice, Sheffield United nil. The score was 1-0 at half time. So let me go back to the Betfair screen. So there was a very lengthy gap before the first goal was scored at 34 minutes, and then the second goal was scored soon after the match restarted at half time. Now, this is a situation where I would always want to monitor the match and be cautious, because we're 2 goals away from essentially losing the bet, because the score could go 3-0 and then 4-0. 4-0 obviously is a losing score. Obviously we could go 2-1, 2-2. That would be fine. But this is, because there's so much of the match left to go, I would have far rather that second goal have occurred, say, in the middle of the second half. So really just keeping an eye on things to see how the game goes on. But you'll notice if I want to cash out of the over under 3.5 market, at the moment it's would be a loss of £3.37. I have a profit on the correct score market of plus 0.79 on most of the scores. So between the two, we're looking at a loss of about £2.50. Now this is where you could make a tactical decision. You might decide that for safety's sake you want to cash out now or in the very near future. You would of course record a loss of £2.50, but all we need is one successful bet where we would make that money back. Now what we will see, obviously, as time goes by, then we will start seeing the under 3.5 goals odds drifting down. We will see the correct score, well, this figure might disappear, so we are then left with the minus £5.51 negative figure on those scores that are not 1-3, 3-1 or 2-2. So that's what we need to consider. I mean, it's now minus £2.47 on the over under 3.5 goals cash out. It's plus 49 on the correct score. So we're down to a £2. Well, it was £2 loss. We're already dropping down quite nicely. The market does seem to be suggesting that we're going to stay under 3.5 goals. These odds are still quite large way apart. Under 3.5 is 1.37 odds, over 3.5 is 3.6. If they were more equal, or if in fact the whole thing had reversed, so that over 3.5 goals was considered to be the more likely odds, then I'd be a bit more worried. So I'm going to run this match quite a bit further. I think as soon as I have a decentish profit I will be cashing out. Certainly if another goal is scored, then I would be looking to, and it's say Bradford 3, then I would be looking to get out with as minimal a loss as I could get. I should point out that the score at half time was 1-0, and I did have the opportunity then. I could have cashed out on both the under 3.5 goals market and the correct score market, and I'd have made about a £1.56 profit. That is a reasonable profit given the present state, but we are looking for a maximum profit for this match of about £4, £4.30. So it would be nice to get the £4.30. Even as I've been talking, you will have noticed the cash out odds on the under 3.5 goals is now down to minus £1.12. Correct score is plus £19. Sorry, minus £1.62 on the under 3.5 goals. 19p on the correct score. So, well, it's in fact jiggling about quite substantially at the moment. So, we're now down to less than £1.50 would be the loss to cash out now. It isn't going to take many more minutes for these figures to cross over, so that we are looking at a break-even or profit situation. There is a more advanced technique that we could use at this situation. I'm not going to show you it in this video. I think it's far better that you learn the basic techniques to ensure you get a profit, and the more advanced ways to deal with certain situations is something to do later on when you've built up quite a bit of experience. That will be a separate video that I'll be producing in the future, but I don't want to complicate matters or confuse you with any further information now. I'll just check the flash scores market because yeah, they're showing that 59 minutes has elapsed. So the timeline on Betfair at the moment is running correctly. There have been problems over this weekend with the market sometimes freezing up and this timeline not being updated frequently enough, and not showing goals until a bit later after they've been scored. So I'm going to pause the video now, and I will come back when either another goal has been scored or if I'm in a position where I will be quite happy to cash out. So I'll pause the video now. Right, I've just restarted the video because there has just been another goal scored. It's not showing on Betfair yet, but if I go to... oh, here we go. This time, fortunately, it's Sheffield United that have scored. So the score is now 2-1. This now leaves us still 2 goals to go before we would find ourselves with a problem, because the score can go 3-1, it could go 2-2. So we've got the next goal can go to either team and we are still okay. Now, given the gap between goals, then if that gap can occur again between 47 and 66, that's almost, what, 20 minutes, then we'd be pretty much at the end of the match, which should suggest that we will be able to end the match with a profit. As you can see, because that goal has been scored, the over-under 3.5 goals cash out is now minus £13.74, because the market now does think that over 3.5 goals is the more likely outcome. Not by a lot. It won't take much for the under 3.5 goals odds to drift downwards. If we cash out on the correct score, it's plus £10.05. So we have, if we were to cash out now, it would be about £2. It'd be about £2.80 at the moment. So we could still at the moment cash out if we were a bit worried as to how this game will go, and have a loss that we could make up very quickly with a match that has less goals in it. So I'm going to continue monitoring the match. I'll put the video back onto pause and decide what action to take depending on how the match is going. So I'll pause again now, speak to you in a second. Well, that didn't take long. There has just been another goal scored. I'm waiting for it to be flashed up onto the Betfair screen. So it is in fact another Sheffield United goal, so we're now 2-2. So that's in the 70th minute. Now we do now have to make a decision. One more goal and we will lose the entire stake. So we are in a position now where the under 3.5 goals market is now lost, because we've obviously scored now 4 goals. So we've got a minus £34.48 figure on the over 3.5 goals market to deal with. The current bets are such that 2-2 we would make £37.30, so that's fine. We can cash out now for 16.86. If I was to do that, then there'd be about, well, if it stays, no, if it's, so we would cash out now would produce £16.98 regardless of the final score, and we would have minus 34.48, so we're looking at a minus £18 loss. I certainly don't want to have a loss of that size, so what we need to do is to decide how we will progress from here. It's whether or not I have a £40 loss, which is the total stake that I've placed, or whether or not I would rather have a smaller loss. I think the danger is there could well be, now that they've reached a draw situation, there could well be another goal either way. It could go 3-2 or 2-3. Let me pause the video for a sec. Okay, I've restarted the video. As you can see, some more time has gone by without a goal being scored. I've now decided I am going to cash out. I'm going to tactically withdraw from this match, even though the cash out figure here is increasing quite nicely. So I'm going to cash out, and I will make a loss on this match, but I'm going to make the sort of size loss that I'm going to be able to press again and actually get a slightly better figure. There we go. So I've cashed out now. I'll be making £21.52 on all scores, except 3-1, where in fact, I can't do 3-1 because the score's 2-2. So I lose £21.52. Sorry, I would make £21.52 regardless of what score it is. On the over under 3.5 goals market, then I have lost £34.48. So just take my calculator. That's 34.48 minus 21.52. So I've made a loss on this match of £12.96. Of course, the universal law of cussedness will apply, and the final score will probably be 2-2, so I could have ended up with a profit. But then again, if I'd stayed in the match, the universal law of cussedness would have meant that there would have been another goal. So taking an almost £13 loss is a sensible thing to do, I think, at this stage of the match. It's a little bit too risky to stay in. You do have to make these judgments, and what that does mean is it will take me about 3 to 4 matches to recover that loss. It is recoverable, though, as you've seen from other videos. It's perfectly possible to just make profit after profit after profit. But this has been a very useful demonstration match to show you, in that it does show how matches can go. So I'll pause the video again, and I'll show you what the score is at the very end of the match. Well, here we are. It's now just gone full time, and as I predicted, the match did end 2-2. No more goals scored after the second Sheffield goal. So if I'd waited right until the end, that's just the final whistle score from the Flash Scores website. So if I'd waited to the end, then I would have ended up with the anticipated profit, whereas in fact I've ended up with a loss. But that is the nature of the game. You have to make these sorts of decisions. Some you will call right, some you will call wrong. But I'm quite satisfied. A £13 loss or thereabouts. It's easily recoverable. It's not a major setback. So I'm now going to go and have a look at Betfair and see what matches there are later on for me to get involved with. Thank you for watching.